Now we're gonna prepare our ginger snap cookie. And I'm gonna invite you to make them the way that I like to, which is with a lot of extra spices. The ginger snap is a cookie that is traditionally eaten around the holidays, but we like it year round. In fact, our ginger cookie that we make in my bakery, we made it as a holiday cookie and it became so popular that we've now been making it year round for about 10 years. So it's a great cookie. What makes it so special is the spices in it. We today are gonna be using clove, nutmeg, allspice, some ground ginger, and we're gonna use some fresh ginger. If you like a more mild cookie, or you're gonna be maybe serving this to children who don't want such spiced flavor, you can just stick with ginger and cinnamon. But if you like to make it really flavorful and you know the crowd that you're feeding likes a lot of flavor, I encourage you to really play with the spices as much as possible. The other thing that makes this recipe special is this molasses, which is the process of taking cane juice from the sugar cane and boiling it down several times to create this rich syrup consistency. And what's great about molasses is that it is really full of minerals and vitamins and has so much flavor. So this is a really special cookie, and let's get started. Let's begin our ginger snap dough. Soft butter into the mixer. Ugh. Just made a beautiful mess of that. Here we go. Start mixing. I'm gonna add my brown sugar, my white sugar. And we'll give this about a minute. Okay, next I'm gonna add my egg in. This. Okay, now we're gonna add our molasses. I want this all to go in the bowl. Okay. And lastly, we have some minced ginger here, which will really give it a pop ginger flavor. I love this cookie because it's both spiced with spices, and because of the ginger, the extra ginger, it's almost a little bit spicy. So it's spiced and spicy. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we can start adding our dries. I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna add my salt, my leavener. I'm gonna put my spices in here as well so that I know that they're evenly mixed in. This out on any. And be sure to use your, make sure that your dry spices are as fresh as possible. So if they've been sitting in your pantry for over 2 years, I would recommend getting some fresh spices. And ideally, with the cloves and the nutmeg, You can start them out as the whole spice, as the hard nut, and then you can grind them down. That's for the maximum flavor. Okay, and now I'm gonna add in my flour. I'll do half, or a little over half, start on low. The rest, and it's really important that we don't over mix this one, because in order to get that snap flavor, to have a really crunchy texture, we want the gluten development to be as little as possible. So we want to stir it as little as possible. So once the floury bits are gone, I'm going to finish it by hand. Now that this dough is done, we're going to transfer it to a bowl so that we can scoop it. Now we're gonna scoop our ginger snap dough. So this dough is pretty sticky and wet because of all that molasses that we put in here. So I'm gonna scoop first, and I'm gonna let it set in the refrigerator until they're a bit firmer, and before they go in the oven. And once they're firm, I'm gonna roll them in a little bit of sugar. But the first step is shaping the cookie and letting it chill. So these are gonna go into the refrigerator for about 20-30 minutes. Our ginger snap dough is firm enough to roll in sugar, so it's nice and, it's firmer than it was before. So I'm gonna take these each, I'm gonna roll and flatten them a little bit. And I'm gonna roll them in this raw sugar. You could also use a white sugar, but I like the texture and flavor of the raw sugar. Push down. And the reason we do this is this gives it an extra bit of crunchy texture. And this cookie is called a ginger snap, so we want it to snap when you bite into it. And this will help with that. Again, you can make this cookie bigger or smaller, and just watch it in the oven. Because it's a darker cookie, it's gonna be harder a bit to see that when it turns golden brown, but you'll start to see around the edges, it just gets even darker. And it already is. These smell so good. This cookie is also great because it has a bit of a long shelf life. Because they're crunchy, they can stay for a bit of longer time, maybe like 4 or 5 days, they'll be fresh. And they're also really good if you want to mail cookies to someone and ship them in the mail. These ship very well. So these cookies are now fully covered in this raw sugar, and they're ready to go in the oven. Here's our finished ginger snap. You can see they stack really nicely because they're nice and flat, and they smell so good. All those spices and fresh ginger and molasses really came together. And then the best part that lives up to its name is snap. These are great. I think that you'll really love them, and sharing them with anyone who loves spiced cookies. These can stay also up for a week because they're a bit of a drier cookie. We don't have to worry about them drying out because they already are a bit dry. Same thing, keep them in an airtight container so that air doesn't dry them out. Up for a week. Enjoy these. And again, these are really good for shipping. If you want to send someone cookies in the mail, these are really good ones to do. Enjoy.